Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're turning to the very end of Genesis, chapter 50.
Yeah, the final chapter. It's where a lot of threads come together, but it also sets up, what's next.
Right. Our mission today is really to dig into this passage, look at the key events, the emotions, which are pretty raw here,
Oh, definitely. Grief, fear, forgiveness. It's all in there.
and maybe uncover some, surprising insights about how endings can pave the way for new beginnings.
Exactly. You've got Jacob's death, this huge state-like funeral procession, major family drama.
And then these incredibly powerful statements about faith, about God's plan, looking way into the future. It's packed.
It really brings closure to Jacob and Joseph's personal stories in Genesis, but absolutely points towards the future of Israel.
Okay, let's jump right in. It starts very personally, doesn't it? Jacob Israel's just died.
Yes. And the focus immediately goes to Joseph.
This powerful figure in Egypt, second only to Pharaoh. And what does he do? He throws himself onto his father's body.
Weeping, kissing him. It's just pure, unrestrained grief. A very human moment.
You see the son, not the official, in that instant.
Absolutely. The son who was lost, then found, now saying this final goodbye. Then, almost immediately, he shifts into, well, practical mode.
He takes charge, directs his physicians in his service, the text notes.
Right, which again highlights his status. He tells them to embalm his father, Israel.
And we get these specific time frames. 40 days for the embalming.
Which, the text says was the required time. Seems standard for Egyptian high-status embalming.
And then 70 days of mourning by the Egyptians.
Yes, that's what's remarkable. 70 days. The whole nation, or at least the court and significant parts of it, mourning Jacob.
It's astonishing, really. For the father of a foreign family residing there, it speaks volumes about Joseph.
Huge volumes. The honor given to Jacob reflects Joseph's immense standing and favor. They're applying major Egyptian customs to Jacob.
It's this fascinating blend right at the start. Egyptian state ceremony meets Israelite family patriarch.
And after that mourning period ends, Joseph needs to arrange the burial. But he's careful about it.
He doesn't just barge in to see Pharaoh.
No, he goes through channels, approaches Pharaoh's court, asks them to take a message, shows respect, protocol.
Smart. And the message is clear. It's about an oath.
My father made me swear an oath, he says. Bury me in the tomb I dug for myself back in Canaan.
So the request is simple. Let me go up, bury my father, and I will return. He assures Pharaoh he's coming back.
And Pharaoh's response, straight away, go up and bury your father, as he made you swear to do.
No roadblocks, no hesitation, just clear permission. Again, underlining that trust.
The trust and favor Joseph commanded, it's unwavering.
Okay, so he has permission. But the journey itself, the description of who goes is mind-blowing.
It really is. The scale, it's not just the family.
No, the text lists all of Pharaoh's officials, dignitaries of the court, dignitaries of Egypt itself.
Plus Joseph's entire household,
Yeah.
his brothers, their households, everyone from Jacob's household.
Think about that. The political elite of Egypt traveling alongside this Hebrew family. What does that tell you?
It's almost the state funeral procession heading out of Egypt. It shows the immense status and, frankly, protection Joseph had secured for his family.
They weren't just like tolerated guests. They were honored to the point that Egypt's leadership joins in burying their patriarch in their promised land.
A land Egypt didn't control, and it specifies who stayed behind.
Only the children, the flocks, the herds, in Goshen. Everyone else of note seems to have gone.
And it wasn't just people on foot.
Chariots and horsemen. A very large company, it says. Part funeral, part, diplomatic mission. Maybe even a protective escort.
It's grand scale, however you look at it, way beyond a typical family burial.
So they travel, heading towards Canaan, and they make a stop near the Jordan.
At the threshing floor of Atad. And this isn't just a rest stop.
No, it's for more mourning. Intense mourning. Loudly and bitterly, the text says. Joseph himself observes 7 days of mourning there.
It must have been quite a sight, because the local Canaanites, they see this huge, high-status Egyptian contingent mourning so intensely.
And they comment on it. A solemn ceremony of mourning by the Egyptians.
And the event gives the place its name, Abel Mizraim.
Which means mourning of Egypt. The name itself becomes a memorial to this moment.
Exactly. Captures that unique event. After this, they continue on to the final burial site.
And Jacob's sons do exactly as he commanded. They carry him into Canaan.
And bury him in the cave in the field of Machpelah near Mamre.
This is crucial, isn't it? This specific location.
Absolutely critical. It's the place Abraham bought, where Sarah is buried, Abraham, Isaac, Rebekah, Leah.
So burying Jacob there is like
Hmm.
physically anchoring him, and by extension, the whole family, back to the founders, back to the land, back to the promise.
Yes. Even in death, their connection is to the promised land, not to Egypt where they currently live. It's a statement of identity, of hope, despite their present reality.
A powerful contrast. Living in Egypt, buried in Canaan. It embodies their whole situation.
It roots them. Then, after the burial is complete, the entire group, Joseph, brothers, Egyptians, they all return to Egypt.
And this return marks a shift, a big one, because Jacob is gone.
And with Jacob gone, the brothers' old fears come rushing back.
The text is explicit. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said, "What if Joseph holds a grudge against us?"
And pays us back for all the wrong we did to him. Their guilt is right there on the surface.
It makes sense psychologically, doesn't it? Jacob might have been a sort of buffer, now he's gone.
And that deep-seated fear, that guilt over selling him, abandoning him, it probably never really left them. Maybe Joseph's kindness seemed conditional on Jacob being alive.
So what do? They're terrified. They send a message first.
Can't even face him directly initially, use an intermediary.
And the message itself is, well, it's quite something. They claim Jacob left instructions before he died.
We don't know if that's strictly true, but that's what they say. Jacob supposedly told them to ask Joseph.
Forgive your brothers the sins and the wrongs they committed in treating you so badly.
And then they add their own plea, appealing to their shared identity. Now please forgive the sins of the servants of the God of your father.
Wow, pulling out all the stops. Father's alleged wish, shared faith, anything to deflect potential revenge.
And Joseph's reaction, when he gets this message,
He weeps.
he just weeps. Not anger, it seems, but maybe sorrow. Sadness that they still fear him this much, that they don't trust his forgiveness.
Or maybe grief that the past still holds such power over them, over their relationship.
Whatever the reason, his weeping perhaps signals to them it's safe to approach, because then they come in person.
And the scene. It's like his childhood dreams all over again, but born of fear this time. They throw themselves down before him,
Total prostration, and they declare, "We are your slaves."
offering themselves up completely. But Joseph's response here, this is the absolute core of the chapter, maybe one of the core verses of Genesis.
It really is. He starts with reassurance. Don't be afraid. Addresses the fear head on.
But then he asks that question, that pivotal question, am I in the place of God?
It reframes everything. He's saying, vengeance, final judgment, that's God's domain, not mine. He refuses to usurp that authority.
Even though they wronged him personally, terribly.
Exactly. And then comes the statement that changes perspective entirely. You intended to harm me,
He acknowledges their intent, doesn't sugarcoat it.
but God intended it for good,
There it is. The divine perspective overriding the human intention.
to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. He connects their evil act directly to God's sovereign, redemptive purpose.
The very thing they did out of malice, God used to preserve them, their family, Egypt, the region, through the famine. It's an incredible theological insight.
It's this deep understanding that allows him to forgive so completely. He sees God's hand even in the worst human actions, bringing about ultimate good.
And he doesn't just say it, he backs it up. He repeats, so then don't be afraid.
And promises practical care. I will provide for you and your children.
And the text adds that final touch. He spoke kindly to them, reassured them. It's full, gracious act of forgiveness.
An amazing picture of grace, really, flowing from his trust in God's larger plan. So after this reconciliation, Joseph's life continues in Egypt.
Yes, he stays there, the head of this large, extended family, lives a long life, 110 years.
And he sees the family grow, sees grandchildren, even great-grandchildren, the third generation of Ephraim's children.
And there's that detail about the children of Machir, Manasseh's son.
Yes, being placed on Joseph's knees at birth.
Which is significant, isn't it? Like a formal acceptance or adoption.
Exactly. It signals his full acceptance and blessing of these descendants, integrating them into the family line under his patriarchal authority, even in Egypt. It shows God fulfilling the promise of multiplication.
They are flourishing there, under his protection. But even with this long life, this success, this family growth in Egypt, his final words turn elsewhere.
Right. As he's dying, he gathers the family, his brothers, the next generation, perhaps.
And he tells them plainly, I am about to die. No illusions.
But then immediately, faith asserts itself. But God will surely come to your aid.
His focus shifts from his death to God's future faithfulness.
and take you up out of this land to the land he promised on oath to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. His eyes are fixed on the covenant land.
Even on his deathbed in Egypt, after a lifetime there, his ultimate identity is tied to the promise.
Yeah, and he makes them swear to it, turns this future hope into a binding oath for them.
God will surely come to your aid, he repeats, and then you must carry my bones up from this place.
Wow, think about that request. His body, embalmed like an Egyptian notable, will remain in Egypt.
Temporarily, it's a placeholder. His final instruction ties his very remains not to Egypt, the place of his power and success.
To Canaan, the place of the promise. He's making his bones a future symbol, a reminder they have to take with them when God acts.
It connects the end of Genesis directly to the story at Exodus. Those bones will eventually make the journey.
It's a powerful act of faith and a future he won't personally see. So Joseph dies at 11:10. He's embalmed, placed in a coffin in Egypt, waiting.
So wrapping up this deep dive into Genesis 50, what a journey in one chapter. We've gone from, intense personal grief,
To this massive, almost state funeral procession,
then plunged into deep-seated family fear and guilt.
followed by one of the most profound moments of forgiveness and theological insight in the Bible.
And ending with this forward-looking faith, ensuring even his death points towards the future promise.
Yeah, it starts with honoring one patriarch by taking him to the Promised Land, facilitated by Egypt.
And ends with another patriarch, ensuring his remains will eventually leave Egypt for that same land, setting the stage for Exodus.
We really saw how human intentions, even terrible ones, can be part of God's larger redemptive plan. That you meant evil, but God meant good. Insight is just huge.
And that tension is there throughout, isn't it? The comfort and success in Egypt versus the pull of the promise of Canaan.
Absolutely. Joseph embodies that tension right to the end with his request about his bones, living successfully in one place while anchoring your ultimate hope in another.
So here's maybe a thought to leave you with. Consider Joseph's whole life pit, prison, power, patriarch. And his final act is tying his legacy, literally his bones, to a future promise he wouldn't see fulfilled. What does that suggest about the difference between finding success, maybe even comfort where you are right now?
And holding on to a vision, a hope for where you believe you're ultimately meant to be, even if it seems distant. How do you live fully in the present, like Joseph did in Egypt, while still being fundamentally oriented towards a future promise?